motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, Rob, secondary?
I'll second it.
Ethan, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, so moved. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Any discussion?
Yeah, I had a question about the minutes, and it relates to bills also. So item A on the consent agenda, previous minutes, we approved purchasing ropes, starting blocks, and flags for the swim team for $450. So we wrote a check to the swim club instead of buying the products. Why didn't it happen that way?
They were going to provide a receipt once it was purchased because they didn't have the funds to actually purchase the stuff.
Why didn't we just buy it? That was my impression, that we were buying. I mean, to me, if we're, I don't feel comfortable necessarily just giving money cheaper well, if that's our understanding of my thing.
Yeah.
So we either need to change the minutes or change the way we do it. But, I mean, the motion was what the motion was. The motion was to, that the city purchases ropes, starting blocks and flags. So, I mean, I don't know how big of a deal that would be.
Starting blocks are expensive.
No, but we bought them,
Yeah.
but we wrote a check to the club instead of us buying them.
Just
Yes.
protocol wise, we should always just buy it ourselves if we can. Just for purchasing and audit trail purposes.
And it just seemed like prior, those are kind of the things that we got.
Have they purchased them yet?
As far as I know, no.
The-
but I don't know anyway.
Bud bought the ropes today. Sorry, reins. And the swim platform guy sent us a quote. You know, freight and everything.
And then on the bills, I had a couple of questions. One is, what's the flagpoles for $450? Oh, is that what it is? For the banner basket?
Crayons. Yeah, that was for the flower baskets.
And then another item, non-care, so where's their one now? Have we closed on that?
Well-
I meant to call you about that today. One major thing I need to do before we close, I need to re-pull that title search we did and make sure he's cleaned up that mortgage.
Okay.
And if not, we'll clean it up for him and then.
Yeah, because he said it's not, it's still out there, so I
Okay.
was gonna call everybody tomorrow to make sure everything was paid, and then the taxes will be ran.
Okay.
So are we good? Are we good approving that, $95,000?
As long, up to that, subject to just clearing all the rest of the liens. The purchase price is that, but we just,
Just maybe some other
we may
costs.
change that purchase amount and then do some other,
Yeah,
to get it checks.
But we're only spending $95,000.
Yes.
And then my final inquiry was between pages 4 and page 2, there's a Midwest Research settlement, $5,000 each, and they look like they're related to our housing program. And then on
Yeah.
the back page, there's a housing program for $10,000. So what are those items?
One's for Thomas, that's, they close on 29th,
Yeah.
and one's for Redenbach, they close this week too.
So how does that relate to the $10,000 on the back, or does it not? On the last page, item number 303?
That's the total of the two checks.
Okay, so it's not 20,000.
No, it's only 10.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, any other discussion? Do I have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Yay. Okay, approved. All right, moving down to number 5. I need to have a motion to go into a public hearing. Discussion of possible action on public hearing for resolution 18-0521-01 FY 27-2018 budget amendment.
I'll move that we go into
public hearing.
Okay, motion made by Ethan, second. Second by Joe, all in favor? A roll call, please. Joe?
Aye.
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 So moved. Okay, discussion.
Major things are just housing program changes and the purchase of the ambulance. The fire department also has some other purchases, I think, for whatever, what was it you guys bought like earlier this year, Paul?
What was it now?
What was it you bought? We had the ambulance down payment and there was something else. Phone?
A phone sprayer.
Okay. I mean, that's the main thing, public safety. We have more income and less income in some areas, more income in others. You know, it nets out to about $2,300 difference in the long run. We should still be on track to have our $1.25 million left over at the end of the year.
So where did you end up going from it? Where did we end up in the difference?
Well, the big extra was we hadn't received Iowa West grant in last year like we thought we were going to, so we have a whole bunch more. And then on the expense side, we just had, you know, other things happen, like you decided to do the water tower. There was the valve project that had been budgeted like 2 years ago, finally happened. We did the down payment on the ambulance, we have the housing program stuff changed, those changes. It was just,
So,
yeah.
This doesn't have anything to do with the budget really, but the ambulance, I mean, we approved it, but we never even got to see anything. Shouldn't we see what it even looks like?
well, I think we gave them, basically, the way I understood it, we gave them the criteria, and then the buying machine was, they meet the criteria.
Have we found one?
Yeah, so.
Really solid activity.
It is?
Yeah, there was a meeting where they had a purchase agreement and pictures, I can't remember what it was.
This makes some sense.
I have a video on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Any other discussion? Do I have a motion?
We have to come out, but you can ask public if there's.
Does the public have any comments? No? Okay.
Okay, I'll move to close public hearing.
Second?
I'll second.
All okay, roll call? Do I have to do a roll call? Close?
Yeah,
Yep.
no, they have to do it, not to close, you can just close it without anything.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
All right, so
So moved.
now we have to.
Make
Do
a
a
motion to
resolution.
pass the resolution.
Yep.
And that one's a roll call.
Okay,
So I'll move to pass resolution 180521-01.
I'll second it.
okay, roll call?
All right.
Aye.
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 So moved. Okay, number 6, discuss the possible action on revision schedule based on scope for phase 1 of the standard professional service agreement with Snyder and Associates for engineering the current project. Okay, do we have any updates?
You just got updated or anything? Changed?
I think we're gonna do it based on what you're willing to prioritize.
Okay.
I had talked to Mike, you want to talk, Mike?
Come on.
I talked to Mike a little after the meeting, and, you know, I think, you know, your biggest priorities were in the fields, in the paths, and the concession stand. And the biggest budget item is parking lot, so there's kind of some straightforward ways of breaking it down on what you could, you know, do less on. So I don't know, Mike, you want to talk about that kind of impact, or how we might be able to stretch it on the things that they care about the most?
Yeah, I guess, as I understood your phase 1, which we were talking about, was the parking lot the concession stand slash restroom facility, trails, and then I'm guessing some miscellaneous grading for the soccer fields, and then just, you know, your miscellaneous stuff of seating and that type of thing. And, you know, we did different cost estimates over the last couple of years on stuff like this, but I had it broken down kind of like the building and getting it hooked up to utilities was about $112,000. The parking and the sidewalk that kind of went along with the parking lot was about $120,000. Trail was about $45,000. I didn't really know on the grading, but I put a $10,000 number on it. And seating on something that large, I got it as like $13,000 for a total of $300,000 construction cost. I don't know where you guys are at for budget or where it needs to be, or what would be best to.
Is that what, get rid of the one parking area?
That is
Just the one.
just
Just
this,
the one.
yeah,
Just the big one.
just the big one, not this over here. That was whatever was encompassed here in that red phase 1 area that went along with the agreement.
And when you say 45 for that trail sidewalk, is that only halfway around?
Yes, it would be here all the way up to here.
I would say then we ought to leave that.
Why don't you just
Scratch that for this year.
What about drainage? Water runoff and things of that sort, does that include that too as well?
We would certainly look at how we drain that parking lot. If we're going to put curb and gutter and intakes into a ditch, or
Well, just to kind of bring it to speed on that portion of it, this whole area here is fairly low now. The ditch that's existing is very shallow compared to the field, right?
yep.
So what we were contemplating is if we could tile a line back to the creek at some point, potentially,
Sure.
so we push water that way.
And that's kind of, I think Clint had kind of explained that to me, and I believe when I said a $120,000 number for the parking lot, it probably was not including any infrastructure to get the storm.
I was thinking the whole thing that we had submitted was like 446.
450-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
That was our original bid for the entire park, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or original estimate, I should say.
Yeah.
And there's another huge.
There's another 120 over here then to do the other side, right?
Those roundabout deals, or not the circuit drives, those are expensive.
Yeah, well.
No, I'm talking about
They
the
certainly
other
are.
side of
Future
the,
For future.
Well, yeah, that wasn't in there ever.
would be another 120.
Right, so that's gonna eat up everything. in our-
We also have equipment, we had the ball field,
Right.
Yeah.
we had to rework that whole ball field on this side here, because this is just one, isn't it? Now there's a little one up there too, is that?
Yeah, I was showing that little field.
And then
Basically-
turns it into the dog park on the one side.
Yeah. We
Then
can
there was
worry about that
equipment.
next year though.
I mean, I have two estimates. One of them was $494 that was done in September of 2016, and one done in October of 2017, and it was $446. And it looks like the main difference was trails.
We made
Made
it
trails
Made it
smaller.
smaller.
Small.
They went to 10
Yeah,
to 6
6
foot.
foot.
But
Yeah.
But, yeah.
the same distance.
Yes, that's right. Because they went from 127,000 down to 76,000 for the trail, reducing the width.
What was that? It was like 6 feet, is that what we?
That's what
Yeah.
you're doing now?
Yeah,
Was there any stipulation that we
that was just to
need to
try
follow?
to,
I didn't think so.
that, the main thing for doing that is Iowa West guidelines, is they will not pay for anything they consider a trail. And a 10-foot walkway like we were planning out there is a trail standard
Right.
pathway.
Right.
No.
What about seating? Didn't we have seating
Oh,
on
yeah.
easy?
Well, we still have, how much seed do we still have?
12 bags,
12 bags.
12 50-pound bags.
And that was supposed to be for overseeing. It's really kind of, I don't know, I haven't been out there for really
Chip Lease is really good. Really well.
Yeah.
So did this include, because last time we talked, Clinton, we were gonna talk with these guys. Does this then include re-surveying that field and checking for, stuff and
spots.
It
percentage?
would, yeah. We would topo survey the total site.
But there's no reserved money for addressing any of those issues. That would be additional cost to your estimate, am I correct?
Yes. If the grading wasn't sufficient, yeah.
I know what we talked about last time, I remember talking about straight up. The existing one was just blacktopping, it's been there how many years? Is doing it in blacktopping cheaper than pouring concrete?
That was done the last time we did the tower. It was- We got done at the same time because they got extra money. So whenever they painted it white, when the trail got drawn.
Normally, the only time you can save money doing asphalt is by quantity. If you're doing a project, a street project in town and they're here. But getting them in for an asphalt trail, you're probably going to be very comparable to concrete. And I think your product, you probably end up with a better product with concrete in a pedestrian trail.
We also had trouble finding someone that had a asphalt paver. Yeah.
Not everybody has them and they're not real fond of using them. Because getting trucks down narrow stuff.
So this, we're just talking about entering into contract still.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is if you want to look at the scope of it, that will determine some of your plan costs. You know what I mean? The plan costs were based off full design. That was your question about.
And the scope of services that we did provide was
I'm assuming
a full construction services, meaning you would want to do some construction staking, you need to do some of that. But that was basically full observation, which, that could be reduced. You could do it on a spot check basis, or when you're pouring concrete that day, do an air and slump test and just kind of prioritize your time. You could save some money there. And yeah, depending on what you want to design.
That's what my next question was going to be. The estimates on this structure, what were you predicting as far as the type of structure that it's going to be? Wood frame structure or what?
The one that I have used there and Heidi had sent me a picture of something you guys were interested in, I believe. And we had done a couple of them very similar. One in Oakland and Chautauqua Park quite a few years ago, and then one at Avoca at their baseball complex, softball complex. At the school down there, that's probably been 10 years ago.
It was get finished right when I moved to town.
Yeah, something like that. And it's a concrete block structure, the split face concrete block, and then it has a standing seam steel roof, colors whatever color you want, with a overhead seating area so you can sit and eat in the shade.
we got a picture of that.
2 restrooms, probably a mechanical room, a mechanical chase room between them. So that's kind of what we were basing the price on. And that, on Clint's estimates there that I just gave him, it says 60 by 26 concession stand, and that was the size of both Oakland and Avoca's, and that works pretty easy.
So does that then include any finishes within these photos as far as partitions and shelving
Yes.
and tables and all the type of?
Yes, I believe that includes, the furnishing the bathroom. I don't know how much kitchen equipment, but it would have some counters, a sink,
Good.
and water heater, and wire.
Roll overhead door, whatever.
Yeah, the roll-up doors, and it would be essentially ready to use other than bringing in coolers and things that type of
So the 60 by 26 is the whole, even the enclosure over the seating area.
Yeah.
We can actually use that overhang as a part of shelter too.
Yes.
And you can vary all that through design. You're by no means are you set in stone with that facility. You want something better with framework?
I don't know what hole that we can cut out of. To suit the bill of what we're talking about we need, other than the entire parking lot.
If you want,
That's what's on this map.
if you want to save money, that's what I recommend, sure, just ditching it. Yeah. And maybe pave up enough so you have a good approach and you have across your trail to the right place and stuff like that.
Could it be graded and gravelled to the manner where it's nearly ready in the future instance to pave it? Or,
Yeah, I mean, that happens a
I
lot.
like the idea of gravel, because people have to store it.
That it does happen quite often. People will just grade it and,
and have less of a runoff issue than
Yes.
and then at some point you can asphalt it or concrete in the future. You'd have a decent base.
What is the estimate on the thing for that parking lot?
120.
That's just the one, too.
That's just
Yes,
one,
right.
yeah.
Not the, because there was 2 parking lots, there was 3 parking lots total of the big plan, 2 of them in phase 1. This year, well, that was the biggest item that we had in there.
But it's still,
Yeah.
still be paving around like sidewalks and things like that.
Certainly wants
Yes, I would
paving
think so.
around the concession stand
Yeah.
and a few sidewalks and
Some of the approaches,
stuff like that. I'm sure you're gonna want to do a decent sized miscellaneous paving job.
Well, even if, even a small sidewalk, maybe, question, just eliminate
You know,
that whole case flat.
If you had that sidewalk left there and you could keep it raised up just like we normally would, that much higher than the ground, and it would give you basically a perfect, for parking on one side.
Type building.
How necessary is the baseball field stuff, because that was in the other project we looked at.
It's too small, I don't mind, they don't necessarily have. But I think there's something to be said to gain this green space. I don't know. I mean, this big diamond is no longer needed to be so big. We don't have adult teams out there anymore. There isn't really ever. But even, I don't know. Future yards of space too.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
is there a big discussion from the public?
Well,
I
we
think
haven't,
we have to get phase
we
one.
did have, we had 2 or 3 meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of
We'll worry
input
about
at the time.
phase 2
Okay.
next year.
This is a little dated, it's a couple years old now.
Probably, it's
Still.
still visit that.
A lot of people just use the trail, but we don't have anything right now either, so.
Right, along the trail.
I think, like, from a statistics point of view, walking is the most popular outdoor activity in the country.
Other than the mandate for the soccer fields, the walking trail to me is the most used thing down there.
It is. That's at 5 or 5:30 in the morning too. There's people down there walking.
Trails really get used anymore.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Especially in a facility like this where they can park, get out and.
While the kids are practicing,
Right.
they're always walking around.
What about?
Is
No,
it,
exactly. I know,
is
it's
the
not-
trail even all the way over there?
Just
Is it
maybe
in
next
here?
year when it's done.
Is it there?
Existing?
No, I'm talking about the new one. Is it from here to here?
He was only going.
You mean in this, in phase 1?
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly where you guys wanted to stop it, but
Your number goes to.
my number, I believe, probably goes to.
Okay.
I don't think it's
What
worth
it
talking
does now,
about.
this probably gonna do what, 3 of those? Turns and goes along the park that way.
To me, it's like doing it. That is.
What if it's loose out?
Well, it's 120, so they're gonna have creek and signal skirts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
To
but to
me,
finish
Make
the
a
trail,
trail,
I would
make another walk up here.
Looking at that number.
Exactly.
Instead of trying to redo all
the
the.
money we take out of here, we're gonna spend to
Yeah.
finish the trail.
Right.
I mean, the current trail is there, it's still, even if we did it, we just paid.
My opinion is, what we do, we should do right.
I agree with that.
And so we figure out exactly what we can afford and we do it right with those things and then,
I don't think
Move
300
on.
is too far out of line for a budget. I mean, had saved up 250. We've had 250 to sit in the bank for a couple of years now,
right?
you know, so if we needed to go a little bit over,
I guess that,
I would rather just, I think the park would be better off if you maybe didn't focus on parking lot and put more of that money in the
that's
trail.
what I just gonna say, yeah, eliminate the parking lot and complete the trail.
You can probably get there, I guess. It's got to,
The parking lot will still be there, it's just.
Right.
be paid.
Yeah.
But when you
Right,
say
yeah.
complete the trail, I mean, are we,
The entire trail, is that what?
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Or at
to
least-
me, to do it right, it all needs done, all the way around,
I want to.
because the trail we have is
Yeah,
not
it's
very
beat up.
good.
I guess I agree with you.
So
I
what
think-
kind of money are you talking to do that all the way around? And this 45 he's talking
how many
about,
acres is yours?
Existing pond, I think
2.5
it's just-
times around is a mile. Does that help you?
On the original.
I mean, I think
Yeah, right now.
oh, that's just,
2.5 times.
3/4 of a mile on an 8-foot path is,
So you said 2.5 times around it is a mile?
Is 1 mile, yep.
So one trip around's 2,100 feet, and if you went 8 feet wide, $84,000.
and that's,
That would be 2,000 feet of trail, whatever.
and,
So we next.
but she's
Oh.
talking about the old.
Okay,
That's the old.
that's the old
existing
trail.
one, the existing one that we have.
Then you gotta add it to,
But the one of the existing, would you
Yeah.
redo
The
that part of it?
north-south would probably get eliminated, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or leave it there.
Well,
I
I
just-
mean,
I don't know.
that might be something that you can
Well-
concept out before you bid it, you know.
So 84,000, and what did I say for this over here, 45,000?
Yes.
Yep.
So if you didn't do this, and then you connected it over here, that 84 and 45 would be probably pretty close.
I think it's 150 the whole way
That's
around.
what we said, exactly what we said.
130
30,
to go all the way around.
and that does it all the way around. Not just to where these dotted lines
No,
are.
that would be the replacing the,
Existing.
Existing
But it's
and
not
adding.
the same.
would you
And
be,
that'd be
And
at
how
8 feet.
big, what about
Well-
at 6 feet?
But
Where are you at now on the path? Is it like basically 5?
it's probably about
It's-
6.
yeah,
It's
I see.
maybe 5 to 6, it kind of varies.
It varies.
Yeah.
I guess my concern is, and I think, I agree with what you're saying, Carlos, that we need to replace the whole thing. But I would be more comfortable replacing the second phase and the second phase, because
yeah.
if we're gonna
Yeah,
move,
Which
if
is
we're gonna,
fine, which is fine.
if we're gonna move that outfield fence and shrink things up, that, I'd hate to pay that and then come back and say, hey, we wanna do something different over here. And that's gonna be, you know, depending on if we do anything over there, that could be substantially more money again. With that, with
You
the
know-
creek bank and the other things that we kind of.
You mean this side?
So basically focus with the concession stand over through the soccer fields and leave the other half alone for now.
That's kind of where.
Well, I
I'm at.
think that's where, yeah.
Pave this entire thing that's proposed in the concept drawing of the trail and gravel with that southern lot. Is kind of what-
So,
An existing
just for
trail.
round figures,
Right.
let's say 50 then for the trail,
yeah, we need something.
We're doing half.
if we're doing,
Right, that's cool.
let's say 110 for the concession.
Around
So
here
like I said, I think,
to fill that up.
I think you just tie it in for the time being.
Right.
And then
Sacrificial
concessions, this will be
Do is
second
new.
fee.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
You said that
think
you
you're
thought
far
we could go
off.
up to 300.
I mean, that 300 would be an issue. But if you, did you ever do a an amount for gravel parking?
That is substantially cheaper.
Substantially,
Yeah. way. Because I guess my other thought is if we do have to do some work to this field, we're gonna need some wiggle room on money too.
Right.
Right. And we'll be saving money by not paving that 120,000. If it only costs us 45,000 to do that part of the trail, we're still up. So,
You're gonna be way under, so you're where you end up at. So
Well, then we got somewhere to start on phase 2. It's just another year away.
But we're talking 45,000 for the line, not the whole thing, so.
right.
Here's what you could also do is if we bid a portion of the trail, are we below the quote limit? Do you know off the top of your head, Mike? I can't remember where it is now.
For
The competitive
competitive quote?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it's at. It's probably, you're gonna be over that.
Are we over that?
Easily.
But I mean,
Unless you broke
no, I don't
it
mean
into-
the give it away number. I mean like before you have to competitively bid it.
Yeah, that's under 100.
It is under 100. Okay. I mean, the other thing we could do is if you wanted to consider a change order on the paving if it was good, to just go further. But I don't know if you wanted that much of the project on the table when you have a budget for
That's
it
the
already.
thing. I just don't want to so good at up the bat if we want to make, when we come into redoing any of this field, I don't want to tear out something we just installed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because up here where this driveway comes in anyway, I would think, I would assume we would probably pave that down so far.
The other thing you could do is do a partial replacement if you bring this around and bring your walkway back down, because you're gonna wanna have that anyway. I mean, that would that'd be a significant scope reduction
Yeah.
from the whole thing.
For the next time, yeah.
Say that again.
If right now you have walkways that are planned in here anyway. If we looked at enhancing those and just tying this whole thing together, I think that would feel, I mean, a lot of times it's not gonna be busy up there. A lot of times it's gonna be people out there walking, so it would feel like those maybe.
So phase 1, where's the walking trail?
Oh, we're on the soccer
Just right
field?
around here.
And over here, or stops at that dotted line?
The
No,
number.
he said it goes all the way around.
Oh, the 45.
To the hash line there.
Yeah.
The 45 stopped there.
But what are we thinking?
Going all the way around the
To
whole
here.
field, yes.
Okay. That's
Make
what I'm
a
thinking.
loop.
The
Yeah.
That's my
share,
suggestion, yes.
the share the parking lot,
Yeah,
right?
because
Yeah.
like right now, that blacktop one, I think, comes right like in there.
Yeah, it's right on that.
So it could all hook together.
And I think that's what this actual shit
That's
is.
exactly what that is.
And it
Yeah.
turns right in there. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
When we were saying 120.
That was for everything.
Was.
That was for everything. This is gonna be like, it's just like,
Well, this is, I mean, really,
Yeah, something like that.
we're gonna know what it is when we have it off the bid.
Exactly. And can't we kind of
The scope, I think,
get
is what
some
you want
bids
to
and
get.
then make a decision?
Yeah, that's true. You have to give them a scope to bid it on.
Yeah.
That's right.
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 You have to tell them.
Yeah.
But if we have extra money, then it's
If
not
you
bad.
I mean,
get a
if
good
you-
price, you
I
can
mean, if
always
you look
change
at
order in
this-
more.
They'll get more work for you, always.
Almost always, they'll entertain that idea.
But if you put 50 for the trail going there, 110 for round figures for the concession, you're at 160. If you did this, 120, you're at 280, 25,000 for the fields possibly. You're right, just barely at a little over 100,000. So why not just do it?
Well,
From here to here. That's what you're talking
Right.
about.
yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
We
do
should.
the concession, the parking and the fields.
Yeah.
I mean,
Parking is
if he's
correct.
saying we can spend 300,000, that's about 300,000.
You can also bid it with alternates, having the parking lot as an alternate. And if it comes in high, you can award the
Right,
parking lot,
there.
or the trail, or the building.
Pick and choose.
You can pick and
Yes.
choose. We can put a bid package together.
Would be the alternate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds good.
Once we would be locked into it, we can pick and choose depending on how far they're going to do this.
And maybe it'll come in lower.
So when
Somebody
you-
really
Yeah, it
wants
might-
to work.
it might-
How soon then, if we do your guys' agreement, when could we have designs and let it out to bid then? What do you think?
You're also assuming that you don't get the Peter Kiewit grant.
Well, that's true,
Because
too.
you were
That's a
through,
big
you were through a
change.
different, you were into a later phase of it, so.
So we're in, basically gonna be through May here pretty soon. I would think, we gotta get a topo survey, get it designed, we'll wanna meet several times to get it hammered out, what we're exactly doing and how we want it. But I think, that can happen in June and July, and you could probably bid it out in sometime in August. Do you see it going much quicker than that, Clint?
I think you want to do like a August, late August, early September bid and give them late start dates that are favorable.
I agree.
So we're talking construction maybe next spring, or can we complete it this fall, depending on the.
You can
how
throw it out there to where it's
determined.
compatible for both.
That's how you'll get your best price.
That's
The
how-
more flexibility you give that contractor in timing, your price is gonna be.
You're either
the
going to
most
want to try to catch the
attractive.
person who needs to make more money by the end of the season, or give somebody who's building their book
Right, and that's
flexibility.
Because there's always contractors come late summer that are kind of running out of work and need to keep their guys busy, And so sometimes a late summer bid is attractive to a contractor. But if you give them the flexibility, if they do get busy, then it could be also done the next year, starting like an early spring date, like a late start date of March 30th or something.
Yeah.
That's probably your best way to get your best price.
We had a pre-con meeting today on another project with the Howry Construction. I've heard really good things about them. They're going to pave, what was it, a 3/4 mile trail in 3 days?
Yeah, it's kind of their specialty. They began, I think, their specialty was paving trails on golf courses. Yeah,
Yeah.
HOWRUI.
But I mentioned to them that this project existed today, and it's something that,
And they bid, we just had one, they just got a bid in Atlantic and they just got one in Avoca. That's what we were talking about there. And they bid them very competitively. Good numbers. They're a good company. They're as good as anybody for
And they are from where?
Rockwell City.
When you bid this out, it'll be a bid for everything or just certain things? Will be more than one bid you have to put out for certain items?
I think it might be best, we'll have to look at that because I think it might be best, like we were talking, one bid with alternates. And then you guys can award whatever alternate you want. Have a base bid with alternates. But there's always something to think about that bidding the building, it might be better to bid that building separate. Because not everybody that builds a building is gonna be really interested in.
they'll end up getting some subs and just charging the overhead on them.
And then you're gonna pay, 15% for a subcontractor to do that. So it might be more attractive to, I kind of think that's what we were thinking in this scope was, in our scope of services, probably have two bid lettings, one for the trail and miscellaneous work and one for the building. But the one for the trail and that type of stuff is where we could use alternate.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll move, does this document support this discussion of, this piecemeal kind? Okay. And I'll move that we enter into an agreement with Sutter, to go forward with the ballpark service agreement and to schedule a piecemeal process on the construction.
Great, second? All in favor? Opposed? Great, so moved. Thank you.
Great. So we will schedule the topo survey and get going. And Yeah. So we'll, schedule the survey and start moving forward and be back at one of your next meetings with some preliminary stuff put together.
Okay, so maybe we can move along on this bid, the bids out for the as possible, so we can see if we can get that this year.
I was just thinking, we might want to have my boss, Tim, will do a lot of the, Tim or Austin will do a lot of the building stuff, and it'd be nice to get whoever's going to make decisions on that type of stuff together with him on, either one of those guys on just the type of structure and materials and before
I was
we
gonna ask, if you kind of buy an off-the-shelf deal, you guys have already constructed a couple of times, is that gonna save us some money on design and engineering, or not? It's already there.
Well, the thing about it, where you get into designing them things a lot is fixtures. You gotta specify all these different fixtures and stuff we have in the police cannons or the one we did in the road that. So
That one doesn't, that plan doesn't exist. That was a plan that we kind of made up after a bid, remember?
No, the one I said about the school.
Oh, the school, oh, okay.
The school. The one
That's
we
right, yeah.
did the school and the one we did in Oakland.
And there's different site characteristics that we need to do elevations. Yeah, sewer connections and things like that.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Then Taco will tell us then, if we try to build this year, we need to know an elevation of what that finished door needs to be. If they don't want, yeah, all of a sudden
Yeah.
things draining towards the,
Well, we have that on.
yeah. That one there, it's not the break.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. All right, number 7, discussion possible action on renaming the park.
Well, I personally think, when you think about it, the Hall family gave us the land. Anybody who usually donates things like that, it gets named after them. So I think we ought to be thinking about that. I mean, I'm just writing down things. Hall Family Sports Complex, Hall Family Fields, Hall Memorial Park, something like that. Hall Recreation, something, but I think we should.
I think it's a good idea. I guess my thought was I'd like to maybe ask for input on the citizens to, if we have an informal voting process or something. But I agree, it would be nice to have some recognition.
Do we do that on the park or just the spot?
I think it's gonna be all one thing when we get done.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Probably a sign.
one name on it, not two. Yeah, on the entry.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
local, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do we do? Put something in the paper, send something out with the utilities and say, looking for suggestions, or
Or do we,
They're supposed to start.
or we?
You want to ask them
the
to?
family?
Yeah, because they didn't,
Yeah.
they specified a lot of stuff in that one
Yes.
grant in the gift, but not that.
Maybe that's where we need to start first. All right, moving on, number 8, discussion of possible action on ordinance 2018-01, vacancy alley at 404 First Street. John,
Yes.
hello, come on
Hello.
over.
Oh, okay, what would you like to know? Is everyone familiar with the alley that we're talking about?
So
Yeah.
there's one,
It's the one up by the old trailer court, actually, it's runs off of Elms. Let's see. Yeah, I figured it's right through here, it's on the back side of Elm Street, just north of Elm
there's that one house.
Avenue, and it's where Anderson's.
It's house in the church, the trailer park.
Okay. It runs up adjacent to the old trailer park. Okay, we've got several we got like four property owners along there that are involved. Ekman's, their son Troy, Blooms, I believe, Tootstin, I think that should be, yeah, and then on the opposite side is,
Randy Price House.
Price, the Price House, correct. The Price House and then the other development has property.
None of those properties use that alleyway as any sort of
No.
access to their property now. do they?
No, and we have talked to two of the property owners, Ekman's and, well, actually Cook's probably have a little bit back there, but it's, you know, it probably shows it on your zoning or on your plat, city plat now. But the alley itself, it's got a lot of trees in it, tree stumps. It's not used as an alley. There is a utility easement through there, which would have to be maintained if needed. I'm not sure how that.
Do we have, is there a stand of power poles along that side, or are they open?
There is some old ones, but the other ones are on the north side. Yeah. And we also have a proposal for that in the future when we start building, maybe going underground.
They really need it for their development to make it
Right,
work.
that's what my question was gonna be.
Yeah, it's a 17-foot easement, the alley. And at least one of the property owners, or two of the property owners, major ones, have said that they would gladly give us their part, their 8.5 feet. Because that's the normal rules, what you do, you divide it between the two property, adjacent properties. And I don't know what, you have to go through to do that. I suppose you have to get their written consent and then deed it over to Neola Development. And we could really use that land just to be able to fit the housing we were planning on putting in here.
That makes the difference between being compliant or not.
I don't even know if they can get compliant with it.
Oh, no, we're gonna need variances, I
Yeah.
think.
We're gonna be super
close.
tight.
Yeah.
But they revised their plan some, that most recent one that I've seen, where they added some parking there on the west side, is that?
Yes, do you have, Heidi, do you have those
Not
maps?
looking, I don't.
They've done some things, we've met about it a couple of times, they met with Mike, trying to get a preliminary site plan together. And I think they've got it to where it's a lot, like at first I was kind of concerned it wouldn't work because everything was too narrow. The road was not a two-way street standard and there was no extra parking and different things. They changed it up. It looks to me like it's a lot more sustainable from city infrastructure point of view. But they definitely need this to make it work.
So what do we need to do?
So by word, there's different methods that you can do to vacate right away. I just noticed I needed to add one to the phrase here to what's in the back there, to say to Neola Development. But basically, by ordinance, you can vacate right away. That's usually how I set it up because you don't have to pay to put it in the paper. And that's the only action necessary to do that. And then what would happen is we write them a deed and give it to them, they can record it and take care of it, and it will become their property. They may need to survey it, I don't know what the county will
Well,
tell you.
Snyder will take care of
Yeah,
that.
they may do like a
Forward one.
kind of a vacation plat's what they call it, so, but usually to keep the costs as low to the city as possible, we usually just do it by ordinance, give you the paperwork and kind of let you go with it, you know what I mean?
As far as turning the alley over, sure.
Yes, exactly.
Sure. And then, of course, we're looking at TIFs, but that'll come down the road too, with our infrastructure. Snyder did come up and they did plot the road for us. They did the topical view of it. And we're progressing. We're looking at, actually what we're looking at is 6 duplexes. So we have 12 units. Fit on that property. They would probably average around 1,100 square feet per unit with a single car garage. Each one would have a single car garage.
Those, are they one-level units?
Yes, they will. No basement. They'll be on they'll be a crawl space. But no, they'll be level. No steps at all. That's the whole one of the primary reasons for building the shop for the elderly. But we'd like to get moving on it, and that was one of the things that we need to do first, so we can finish our design, was get that alley dedicated if possible. Anybody else have any questions?
What number did you want on the side of that for the year? Is it?
She's got it right on 1801.
1801, okay.
You have it right.
Yeah. I had to make one amendment to it.
So it's going to be another section to this document here?
No, I need to put note that the mayor can convey the portion of the right of way vacated to the Neola Development Inc.
It was too,
Nobody up there uses this.
No, that's like,
It's
looks
like,
like
yeah,
lawn.
it's really not even an apple.
Yeah, it's just part of that.
It's grass.
It's grass, yeah.
It's just part of the trailer park.
Yeah.
Or the common area for everybody.
I guess though, are we going to vacate the entire portion of it from the street?
No,
Or that portion that Randy Price owns that's adjacent to his lot? Is he going to have an opportunity to slip out with those neighbors, or do they, you guys need to?
Randy can have his if he
yeah,
wants.
I thought it was gonna start after Randy's
That's what I was
property.
wondering.
Yeah, our property runs, butts
Yeah.
his on
But
the
you
west
guys don't need it
side.
for access to?
We don't know. We don't need
Mm,
that. We'd like to acquire that property someday. if
Yeah.
they ever
Well,
become
sure.
available. But no, we don't need Randy's. He uses it for a driveway.
Right,
Right, and that's what
Yeah,
I
it
was
comes
a little
in, it
concerned.
curves
I didn't
around.
know.
yeah.
Is that the one that faces west?
It's a White House that.
Yeah, it faces west, yeah, faces First Street. And then, the one down next to it, I think is Stens. And they would be on the south side of it. We really don't probably need blooms either, but I'm not sure where they stand on that. They were letting it out. We have talked to Ekman's and they control Troy Gardens. So they said that would be fine with them.
Okay, any other discussion?
So we can go ahead and make a motion to do it.
Yeah, but we gotta.
I have the, I just want to make, Mike wrote the legal here, and I just want to make sure. Yeah, I
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2018-01 to vacate the alley at 404 First Street and deed the property to the Neola Development Inc.
Second,
I'll second that.
second by Ethan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, number 9, discuss the, oh, that was a roll call, sorry, Joe. Ethan.
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. All right, number 9, discussion possible action of financing the Myron property at 705th Street and paying cash for the Norman property at 403 Front Street. So discussion.
We talked to Roger after our meeting last time and went through different options. We don't have really any issues with getting the money, putting together terms, things that he wants to get put together for him. But generally, he's really positive to just doing like the line of credit, like we discussed for the housing part of the project. So I think we're good on there, and I think that just with the email and getting it on the June council meeting, we can have our hearing and do all the approvals we need to bring that about for us to close in time with Myron's. So I'll have more terms on it. He needed a bunch of stuff from me before he could make the term sheet up. So. No, nothing. As long as we're just cool with that. I basically, Roger gives you a better deal than what you could get even just selling it off the market. You know, he gives you like AAA standard rate, so I would just keep doing that. But he said that he would do it. He had some questions about stuff that we have with him on the books now and how to pull it all together and stuff, so.
And everybody's okay with Norm? Property? Okay. Got a motion?
We
I don't think
approve
we're
that.
doing a hearing.
Okay. Good, awesome, good. Discussion of possible action on code of ordinances.
I'm almost done. I'm really close to being done, because I'm like 98% done with it. But I told her I promise you, I didn't get it done. I'm gonna blame my kids for that.
You haven't had a graduating next
What's that?
You haven't had a
No.
graduating next week?
I can't use that.
Okay, so we're gonna table this until next month.
Motion to table not.
Okay, second by table. All right, all in favor? Okay, opposed? All right. Number 11, discussion possible action on bids for purchase of used 2000 Chevy Silverado 2500 regular cab long bed.
There they are. What's going on?
It's like Christmas.
Yay. And we're in.
We have a minimum on it, didn't we?
Yes.
Rob Lockheed, 1,800.
Mine's higher.
That is you, right? It says Bob.
My dad.
Okay. 1,800 it says here,
2250.
2250.
Who was that? For Shunny.
Who was what one?
What do you got?
Good top that one.
You.
2444.
2444.
Yes, the way
Mark.
Mark Logie.
I have a motion to sell the,
That's what he says.
2000 Chevy Silverado 2500 regular cab to Mark Cody in the amount of $2,424.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay, opposed? Good. All right, number 12, discuss for possible action on purchasing 2003 Freightliner FC70 with 2003 Johnston 605 vacuum for $20,000 from Truck Equipment Incorporated.
Does everybody understand what this machine is about?
It's a wonder machine, it does
Yes.
everything.
I think it's fabulous. I think it'd be great for the city to have.
And they will postpone till July 1st too, so it can't go on their July 1st budget. Because they've had it in here and he said it will.
My question is, if we buy it, is there anything we can get rid of?
Well, potentially burn one for the skid steer maybe. I don't know.
I know it's a possibility Minden might be interested in the Bobcat and sweeper.
What do you use this vehicle for?
Come again?
What do you use this vehicle for?
It is a sweeper, for one. It's a mud vac machine, so we can curb stops, we can work on those easier. Signs, we can use it to dig holes without hitting utility lines. We can use it for sewer, main sewer lines, and storm sewer.
We're keeping the storm sewer.
So I guess you guys really kind of discovered this that system when they're doing the electrical system in town. Like how
Yes.
these words. I
Now-
saw them operate once. It's really cool. It's a big tube, and they hang it over the hole right there, and then they're going to excavate, and then they use high pressure water, and they just blast the dirt. And if they blast the dirt, the vacuum sucks it into the hole. So they're doing buried lines, electrical lines, whatever. You're not cutting into the excavator. Everything else just washes the dirt out of there, basically. It's really kind of neat.
Now, while they were doing that electrical project last year, there was a salesman over and he was talking to us about the mud vac machine. And they said Harlan was getting rid of their old mud vac machine, and that's all it is high pressure water and a hose sucking it into the reservoir. And that was going to be sold for $15,000.
It's just a trailer mount.
That's just a trailer.
They didn't have the option of sewer sweeping and, and then the other, that's what you could have used that for sewer cleanup.
Right. Yeah.
This is kind of good. Fits the bill for a lot of different departments.
How often would you use it?
What's that?
How often would you use it?
Quite a bit. I know we can use it weekly as far as just sweeping. And I know if we would get it, Jeremy plans on using a lot for sewers and storms.
So
Actually, I'll probably use
how much would approximately take somebody to come out and clean the sewers?
How many?
How much would it cost, do you think, to have somebody come out and just clean the sewers for us every time they came out?
You're just talking about manholes, not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, that's for the water guy.
I mean, I think that would pay for itself, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
guys mostly, so most of the time that happens is they're cleaning. What it would, where it'd be good for these guys at is if they have like a one-off type issue, you know what I mean, where you need to clean it out, and you know what I mean, but those types of deals when you're usually doing like your jetting maintenance program, which, did you guys just start one last year?
He has something worked up on.
Yeah, I can't remember what, yeah, I think you did, but, they usually clean the manholes out as they
Need
jet
it.
your lines, yeah, exactly, so. Or your lift stations or whatever they have, so it's kind of like almost like a good.
Can we afford it? Well, Clint had in the budget,
For a pickup.
$35,000 for a new pickup. This is probably a better investment than a brand new pickup when we just bought a new pickup last year. And this is giving them something to update their equipment, I think, you know, instead of just a pickup.
Well, it's kind of a game changer for me too. I mean,
Yeah,
because if you're using a Bobcat with a broom, you have to have a dump truck, you have to have a Bobcat. I mean, it's kind of a hassle, especially if it's one guy.
It's totally inadequate, it's like.
This is a one guy kind of
It's
deal. You drive
a
around.
great broom. It is. It's a great broom. Works well downtown. Flat surfaces.
Yeah.
It's it does really well for what we use it for. But you're right.
Are you more likely to use this?
If I'm going to travel around town and, say, go up by your house, I got to bring a dump truck. So, yeah, I'm probably going to use this a lot.
Probably, or yes.
Yes.
There's a lot more. The streets.
Yeah, we'll use it a lot.
so we're gonna sweep the streets every week.
I'm more interested in cleaning the
Not just
sewers.
during Winter days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I probably know the answer to this, but are they giving some kind of backing on this 6 months, a year?
I believe it's Naz's machine. So
That's what I was, that's
we're
what
going to
I
have to
thought,
go
too.
up and look at it.
That was
I was gonna
what I
say,
was
you
gonna
haven't looked
say,
at
be
it yet.
prepared to spend more than double what you're planning on spending just getting it back up to run.
Really?
Like, yeah, no, they're nice units, like I've dealt with these before, but bought one from the Arnold's Park and Okoboji share sweepers. We bought their last recycle one out, and we got doubled our money again on the input on it, just getting it back maintenance correctly to use. So they do have lots of maintenance issues, and usually by the time they get to towns like ours, they're usually they've got maintenance
They
issues.
use
There's a
all the
reason.
good out of it.
Yeah.
Because they're like 200 grand brand new, aren't they?
Right.
Oh, yeah, they're expensive.
Oh, what's that?
260.
260,
I
yeah,
don't even know.
yeah.
Well,
So you can imagine, we're like, it's like when we sell the green, how much is that green truck
They
sell
don't
for new?
go by models, they go by
Yeah,
models.
30 grand.
I did find that out. They're
You have
based
a
off
video
the
of this
hours
one also,
and all
or is this a good truck?
What's that?
This was not the one that got the video on, this particular machine here.
That is not the particular truck. No. The
Have
video.
you talked to anybody that used it?
No.
It came from where, Ankeny?
Ankeny.
Right?
Yeah.
Does it run?
As far as I know. Like I said, it'd be a thing where we're gonna have to
Go check it out.
Go check it out. Wouldn't be a bad idea to bring a mechanic.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, good idea.
Yeah, because the pump has 8,000 hours, so
Yeah.
it's, to me, that sounds high, high hours, but it's a 15-year-old machine too.
go check it out. And if it's good, purchase it.
Do you have a second?
One second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moved. Road trip, okay. Discussion possible action on Easy Enterprise LLC 5-year contract for grounds that currently mow in Yellowtown sign proposal from last time. Discussion?
Did we get any more clarification on this? If we give him a 5-year contract, will these prices will not increase? They're locked in?
Doesn't say.
It doesn't say, but that's the way I
Yeah,
would
That's
think.
the benefit of getting a long-term contract.
yeah, these prices would be locked in.
Which he does have the best prices of anybody. We
He's
got
been
bids from,
consistent.
he's been very good.
Yeah.
He's been- I think you guys have had good
It is.
dealings with him.
He does pretty good.
Yeah.
He's not, got an army that goes at it once.
He has passion.
You have any experience with long-term contracts like this?
I think it's, if you find somebody that works, this guy's worked out really good for
Yeah.
you.
Right.
I don't really have a problem with it.
Saving $1,200 if we lock it in, is that what we're doing here?
Yeah,
Basically. with the
yes,
flowers.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I guess that's what we pay attention to sign that.
Pretty
It
overgrown.
looks pretty overgrown and bad, yeah. It does.
Everything's kind of past its life cycle.
Yeah.
Will that happen this year yet? Is that
Oh,
right? Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, that he would do it.
I can run that.
I kinda think he likes to do that.
So this is, they're two combined, it's a contract and the Neola sign and the, right?
Yes, that's the way I
Alright,
take it.
yeah.
I think, yes, it's all together.
Mowing and the flowers.
Mowing and
And
flowers,
landscaping.
and both of those things, 4 or 5 years?
Well, the flowers, you had a 1-year guarantee and only 1-year extension.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
That is, mulch is cheap.
There's one replacement, no charge. Oh, because those are kind of carnivals that are gonna come up every year.
Right,
Sorry.
yeah.
All of our for baskets and all the planters around town, they get those too.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody does.
I gave you, I just didn't get there quite yet. I'm there now, sorry.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Easy Enterprises contract for 5 years.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? So moved. All right. It's time for public comments. Do we have any public comments?
Yeah,
Yeah.
comment I got is I'd like to see the money you just got for that pickup. Put that towards a bumper hitch type dump trailer for the guys. They can haul tree branches and all kinds of goodies, plus snow and everything else. Work a hell of a lot handier for them than trying to put it in that dump truck they
Bumper hitch for what?
Trailer.
Dump trailer?
got. Dump trailer.
Dump trailer.
Something they can put side racks on it for hauling trees and
You mean something like Kurt's got?
yeah, a little long.
Okay.
Yeah, 16 footer probably. That's up to you guys. Something we can haul these around snow on.
Yeah.
And tree branch. That's what, I've always thought you guys needed one. This dump truck got it way too high.
Yeah, you actually.
Like a bucket on a tractor, it's
So, I know you can't buy one for that, but
top of its reach.
Yeah.
you get a good start.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I can spare.
Good solution. All right, moving on. Oh, Greg, you have something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to start any battles or nothing or other, but
Okay.
I've been having a lot of difficulty, and so is my neighbor with the alley to my east. If you look strictly at the curb cutouts for this supposed easement, the residence / apartment building to the east, the steps coming out of the west side of that building are in the easement. The owner of the property is encouraging off-street parking in the easement and causing issues with myself getting my camper in and out of my property and my neighbor getting in and out of his driveway. He has people parking off of the hard surface that's eroding next to his building, which is to his detriment, but it's eroding the easement away. I don't know, my neighbor's fought many battles with this and has had the law out several times to have them move. And the apartment people are more than happy to move after the law comes, but cause all kinds of troubles for him. And he doesn't ever seem to get anywhere with it. And I'd like to clarify if that's an easement or if that's an alley or what we need to do to make this more pleasurable between the landowners.
I think that when I look at it, it passed, seems like it's a non-through alleyway, but I don't.
I know where my one pin is, and it's right next to the power pole, and we could measure from there. And I think John was talking about an alleyway too, and he said they were 16 feet normally wide, so we could measure off of that pin and know that. Plus, all the rain runoff from this apartment building is running down toward my neighbor's house, washing out what is my driveway, but he uses it as his driveway as an easement. I haven't given, but my property has given him easement to drive through my property to get to his. And it's washing all the asphalt and gravel off of mine and washing it into his yard. So I don't think that's right, the rain runoff from his property is ruining ours, so. I could be wrong on everything, but
Are they parking on both sides of the street, or are they parking just on one side of the street? The apartment
One side.
complex?
they're
is it
parking
just
on one side. There is
Okay.
allowed parking on both sides of the street, and they'll have visitors come and block up the access for us and block up my neighbor's driveway, and we would need to get in and out with our campers, and we can't. I don't want to be a griper, but it's been a
long battle.
It's been a 10-year battle, and it keeps going, and nothing ever gets done about it. And I know the ordinances now say that they're required to provide off-street parking, but I've got several pictures where my neighbor to the south is concerned about the vehicles. They'll drive past this apartment building and drive down in the yard and park down there and have a big old party, plug up the easement, and then when they're done, they leave. But I wouldn't want to be that south neighbor watching people driving in and out of the yards and parking on the yards every night. So,
Well, that's gotta be platted, the easement or alley. Either or.
You have
It's gotta be.
all I'm going off of is lot, so
You have like a property abstract?
I don't.
I know this probably isn't the answer that you want, but the best way to resolve this for your own purposes, especially if you got a neighbor that would be in on that, is to get a survey done and have them do a search of all your property records and encompass that. It looks to me like it's, here's what happened. It's either intended to be an access way for you, and there is some type of easement there, or it's leftover property that never really got allocated to another property, and it's just stuck in some original, like, you know, they used to do platting by block and be like, west 60 feet at block 16, and it wasn't always like lot 1, lot 2, you know. So it just looks to me like it could be either one. I don't know, but I think for the city's enforcement end, if you could show they were creating a nuisance by, you know, denying access on a street, it doesn't look like it's necessarily a platted street right away. It looks like to me like it could be a private alley of some kind. I can't tell as I'm looking at it, you know. But if they're denying the access and creating a nuisance, we can do something about that. But it's not necessarily something we can just decide.
And the denying access shows up only when he gets new tenants in, and
Okay.
and my neighbor calls the law and tells the tenant move the car, and now it's gotten, somehow, some way, some sheriff told this one tenant that they can park in the easement permanently. I don't know if they talked to the owner or what, but
Then you also have other like civil remedies, like, you know, if you've have an easement by prescription through there, you know, that's certainly likely. We've dealt with that issue as recently as a few months ago because someone said we shouldn't have our sewer where it was. You know what I mean? But you know, if you've met certain standards, you can establish that you have gained an easement there regardless too. So
would that be on us to have that survey done, or should that be on him because it was an existing alley at one time?
Is that block where the high school used to be?
That's my assumption.
The opposite side, right?
Well, I think you almost have to prove that it was an alley at one time.
Okay.
I think.
I'm assuming that only because of the curb
If it was
cut.
an alley at one time, then the city owned it. So then it'd have to be somewhere that where the city had given up.
Yeah, I always thought it was.
Or if they kept it as an easement, you know, utility easement,
what's your cross street, Greg?
you know.
Mendel and, what's the south side? Mendel and High between 3rd and 4th.
See, it could have been before they built the newer houses on the south end, it could have been a through alley.
There's electrical and phone and cable all run up that easement alley, whatever you call it.
Oh, there is? There's gotta be a utility
I just
easement.
want to go in a little great circle.
What is happening?
Are you between 3rd, 4th, or 4th and 5th? I can't
3rd and 4th.
Third floor.
You know, actually, I just remembered this. So that was a, that you can get the old cadastral plat maps, and that is actually platted as an alley. So I got to pull up on my computer right now.
But the south end of it had to be abandoned, because it don't roll all the way through.
If it's the one I'm looking at, I mean, here, let me show you here.
Well, it was part of it. It was
Because
paved,
there's
part of
houses
the
on
lake
the
south
south
side, when the elementary was there.
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. I can help you answer it. Is it this one?
There is an approach, there was
Yep, right
I
there.
got just a little touch and stuff.
This is Fred's house right here, isn't it?
That's
The opposite
Fred's
side.
apartment, and then this is,
On the south side. I
So
can't
there's
remember.
a house here that has a sidewalk that services it, looks like.
they're pulling around the south side of the apartment.
Right between them.
Now it's still on Fred's property, but,
It goes up to the sidewalk, it's not.
I mean, isn't there something about parking on a hard surface?
It doesn't. Are you talking about on the
I mean, that's
opposite
why I
side?
walk where I park my camper, because it
Like
shouldn't be
between
sitting on
Calvary
dirt.
Yeah, there's some apartment guys.
Yeah.
Lori Ackery.
Yeah, one time that was all paved.
I don't know.
It used to be an alley.
It's
Yeah.
just been 10 years of a battle, and I'd like it
The
renovated.
fence was in there somewhere, I don't remember.
So,
They tore that building down.
what, do you have ongoing issues, or is it just like periodic issues?
It comes up every time there's a new tenant or
Okay.
an apartment dweller
Well,
besides that
that's a
apartment.
multi-unit building there too, was it?
Four.
So,
And two have been empty for quite a while. One has been empty for over a year. That was the problem.
Remember?
Yeah.
I thought you had it rented out though.
Yeah, now it is, that's why it's a problem.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the cadastral map, which is like they make more sense to me than like reading, if you look at it, you can see how the actual plating is defined. It'll say like, you know, this block, this, that. It makes it easier to like, if you want to read a legal description, you can actually, you just got more information on it. But that shows that there's a platted alley there. You know, I can't take that to the bank, but it's at least more information than is on the.
It's just unpaved and whatnot, and the south end's decided to let grass grow on it, that's fine.
Right, we can't park it out.
I would say that's.
Is that for us to determine if it, because if it's plotted out, that's our.
Public way,
Right?
yeah.
So do we need to investigate that and verify it, or is it just our assumption?
If you want to have record search done, we can have somebody do that. I mean, just show them these are the segments we're looking at and have them going. And you can follow it back. I mean, it's not something I do. There's people this is what they do. Yeah, exactly. They go through and the whole record is indexed, you know, going back forever ago. So what they would do is just keep chasing it back until they can hit it.
So is that our responsibility then, I guess?
It's up to you. I mean,
Well, normally if it's a property boundary line between property owners, then it's up to them to decide at their expense. Being the city's involved in it, where supposedly there's an alley involved between property owners, I'd almost think that it's got more bite from the city, you know, to have it actually surveyed, updated or whatever, and so you shouldn't have the problem.
see, the only thing could be is that, you know, I guess there's different alternatives. Is one, they could be wrong. I've had it happen before on important things, like where we thought we had right away that we built a trail through and they ended up not being right, and we got sued. And you know, the sections where it shows private alleys, but there's really 20-foot easements in the property records, you know, for alleys, and you know, where the city's abandoned them, but the county hasn't updated the record yet, you know, so it's a crapshoot. So the only way to go is look at the state of what the documents tell you. It's the best we can do. But usually if there's it would have been uncommon, it was very common for alleys to get dedicated. And that shape of that doesn't really seem that weird to me when you look at the shape of the whole block. The block is not a standard block. It's because of the roadway turns it into like more of a trapezoid shape than a normal, you know, block, square, rectangle deal.
So can we make any action on that, or we need to have that?
If you want, it's not going to cost very much. So if you want, making this call, and if you want me to research it, I can tell
Since
you.
you found that, I kind of feel it is our responsibility.
Yeah, I do too, I think it's.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you guys very
No
much.
problem.
Is there anything that we can do in the meantime that you think might help with
No,
the
this is,
situation?
we're dealing with it now. I mean,
I mean, do we need to put up no parking signs or anything like that? Do you think that?
as long
might
as the
help?
tenants don't change hands, then we're okay, because we can finagle around the one car that parks there now, which shouldn't, but the
I'm
deal
going to
is we
forward you a
shouldn't have
link
to.
to. I'm going to forward you a link to that section of the cadastral
Oh,
map.
great, thank
So,
you.
well, actually, I'm not going to forward it to you. I'm going to forward it to Heidi because I don't have your email.
Okay.
But
In big cities, you're not supposed to park behind.
Well, and you
someone's
shouldn't
driveway.
park, and you shouldn't park off.
We
of
tend to
main
let
service.
like
a common sense law.
Well, it is, but it
What in the
doesn't
world?
seem to fly as much in smaller towns. I think it's laxed. So I think that's part of the problem too, is that, for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
for the file or
Whatever it's typically used.
Okay, any other public comments? All right,
come up to
Employee comments? You got anything?
That's where it's.
Yeah, there's 104 delinquent letters, 23 red tags, and 2 shut-offs this month. And 1 is still shut off. What?
Did Paula talk to you about maybe doing some kind of home consent for rentals? Did she drop that off to you, that she gives to her rental company? that, I'll talk to her about it. She has a form that she
I have a
has.
copy of it.
Do you have a copy? Yeah. That she has people sign saying that they're accountable and responsible and blah, 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 so.
Yeah, I talked to Clint about that. Clint said we're not responsible to hand that out to the landlords. That's their responsibility to write the letter.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It really limits our collection ability.
Anything else?
I guess I just got one question, on the stop signs that I brought up, possibly. My thoughts are if we're progressing with miring and we're doing more stuff to the park. Now, I don't know, is it considered a county road? Or is that ours? I guess I don't.
The street is ours.
Okay.
Okay, the access is gonna be ours, yeah.
Yes. Amber and I have witnessed so many close calls down there, and it's,
Is it
people
people,
dial 911 or,
is it people blowing the stop sign on Pearl and not yielding right away? Is that what the
no,
problem is?
it's
Or is it just the
coming-
speed coming down to it?
coming off the highway, going up the street, and they're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
50 by the time they hit our driveway.
It's a straight shot.
It is. And coming down
Going
vice versa.
downhill.
So if we're adding more housing up north, and that's where the kids, they
They
go
do.
to Bucksnort,
I
they
mean-
go to the pool, and they go to the park.
It's a small town and they think they can do that.
All right. I'm not seeing any other points in Neola doesn't need stop signs, but this one, somebody's gonna get killed.
So do you want the stop sign at Fifth and Pearl?
On our corners, so, yeah, both.
I guess.
Your
Four-way
board's right
stop,
there.
just doing all the way
Two
down.
stops.
Just like we did it.
So it's
for
a
Red
four-way
Fork.
stop,
Right.
yeah.
It'd be just the same thing. if it's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's gonna
exactly.
frustrate some
Well,
people.
that's not,
but
and that carries over the next 2 blocks anyway.
Yeah, they'll hit
It
you.
does.
Yeah, exactly.
Ordinance changed, but I mean, changed.
Yeah.
Not changed.
No, I agree. Yeah,
We'll get that on the next agenda.
okay.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Eric, you got anything?
Midwest Coatings came in and did their patching. I guess everybody's probably seen that.
Are they all done?
With the patching part. As far as patching, yeah, they are still gonna go in and crack seal and do some other things. But yeah, they just wanted to get the patching itself done.
Because maybe if they had a little patching left, they could do right outside of here.
That was brought up, but I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that.
Okay.
The pool motor went out, so I just got that back today. I went over to Omaha and picked that up, along with the mechanical seal, and gonna start putting it in tomorrow.
That's on the pump.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had an issue with the sewer line there on 2nd Street. I'm sure everybody's pretty much seen that. We had to get a jet truck in. Jeremy and I, Eldon was getting his line fixed. We went south and we went north when we were doing the locates. Everything was flowing clear. The company that was fixing his line came in and they clipped the main, and the next morning the hole was filled up with water. We don't know why, other than I know they got a small root ball out of it, but other than that, I'm not sure
Did
why.
Owen have any secondary flooding come through his basement?
He said he caught it before it started coming into the house. So, as far as from the hole, no,
He didn't have anything backing up?
no, not at that point. So we had to have a jet truck come in.
How big's that main there?
Huh?
What size main is that?
8 inch.
8 inch.
Yeah. Now, we're still working on it. We don't really understand it ourselves. We saw the flow coming out of it. That, that morning, and
Did they cancel?
why it would back up,
Yeah.
then we have no idea.
Did the company you guys called, did they put a camera down there to see, or did they just check?
They only put a camera on Eldon's line coming out.
And his line coming out was good?
Not at the time. Well, he had to get it snapped out twice. Once last month and once before they started. And they pulled roots out first time, and second time I'm sure they must have cleaned it when they cleaned it out. Now, doesn't make any sense.
No.
And what is this jet truck you're talking about? What is that?
High pressure water.
Yeah, high pressure water.
It was into
Oh.
the line and cut us whatever it is that makes sense.
What's that? Yeah, they did replace all the carpet after the first time. Now it started working after that. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
None of the neighbors had any issues? Other than Ellen?
No. Nobody else had any issues.
We can talk to the church house to find out, make sure stuff doesn't have sewage in it. Because no one's living in there right now, I don't think.
Nobody's living in there? No.
The Presbyterian church on the corner?
I think they're working on it though.
You haven't been in there?
Yeah, I think they've been working on it because they've been cleaning it out and stuff. I think they've been working on it.
I want to check.
I
Yeah.
don't have anybody living there though.
No,
Or not
no.
me.
No, because they're getting ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll call Jensen and see if Dale and see if he can go over and check out the water and make sure it's not
Just
flooded.
make sure that there's no sewage in the basement.
It just doesn't make any sense that
It doesn't.
everything was flowing fine that morning, and then overnight, since the main got clipped, it wasn't.
It's all repaired now.
Yeah, it's all repaired now, except for the hole in Full Street.
Sure.
I thought I saw a cement truck up there this afternoon.
Then they must have been fixing the cement. I was gonna put some rock and stuff. I went up there Sunday and cleaned it up. I was gonna put some rock in the hole and everything to, make it at least drivable when they were having a party, but, even Eldon came up to me and said, what if it sinks? And you got people ruining rims and stuff like that. And I go, yeah, you're right. So we had that, had a power line on 3rd Street, basically at the same time. Had to replace service to a customer, basically. I don't know what happened, truck backed into it or something when they were clearing trees.
On Main Street?
Yeah.
Across the street.
Very,
Mendel. Mendel. Also, I'd like to talk about 400 3rd Street.
Good, me too.
What would you guys like to do?
Does everyone understand it? I'm sure you've all seen it.
What is going on? What is going on there?
He came up to me, when was it? Thursday or Friday. He comes up to me and says, hey, I need a favor. And I go, what do you need? And he goes, well, that windstorm, a limb came down and in making the tree look bad, and I'm just trying to get rid of the tree, that way it doesn't look so bad. And I said, what are you doing out there? And he goes, it just kind of went on a little rant, and Jeremy said he's already got the tree torn halfway down.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
It's a hazard right now. I mean, there's probably a 400-pound chunk
Yeah.
of trunk hanging on.
Torn halfway down, he goes, go ahead and cut the top off. He goes, cut, it's not gonna live anyway, so take it down. And I said, okay. And got it down to the trunk. Aaron said he was gonna take care of it, and there it sits. Told him not to touch the other one. disagree. But,
I think it's.
he was told not to touch the other one.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
really, legality is this is not.
Well, that's the
But
thing.
whose
It's all-
property
It's
is
the
it?
city's property, it's all the right of way.
It's on the right.
Okay, but the house though, I'm talking
bank.
about.
Oh,
Is
the
right,
bank.
right, right.
It's
It's lots of
gonna
banks.
be in Quigley's name. He got the paperwork on Friday, but he hasn't turned it in.
Now, I will say the other one
Quigley,
is
I think,
in bad
has
shape.
properties.
The tree.
If you go on the other side, the house side, and you look at the trunk, it looks bad.
Due to him or?
No.
Just because?
Just, yeah, it looks bad.
They're both walnut trees, aren't
Yeah.
The other one's just a trunk. Yeah.
So,
Well,
I'll
we gotta
go-
get that big chunk on the ground that's hanging.
The one that's hanging.
Yeah.
I'll go and clean it up. But I was really kind of wondering what you wanted me to do about this second.
Do you think it's a hazard for real?
When I
The
Not
one
the
that he
second
messed with
one.
for sure. The other one was going off of what they were saying too.
Yeah, I bet it still looks better than it
Yeah.
Well, not
I mean, it-
much.
did. Yeah, now you could say just a windstorm.
I mean, he had like a 40-foot extension around it.
Yeah,
It was
right.
a huge tree.
Oh,
And his
God.
little kid was running
You
around.
got them two little chunks whacked off there on
I
the
can see
ground,
that.
it looked a lot better.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, what's going on?
I'm gonna say I was extended it, as far as I could go. Get a little,
Well, is it functioning? Obviously, that one is not functioning as a tree. It's pretty much.
yeah, that needs to.
That needs to come out. What
Now-
about the other one? Is it physically still a tree or is it just
It's-
the trunk of a tree?
It's a tree, but if you walk on the house side, you'll see what I'm talking
Okay, so they both.
It's gotta
come
be
from-
split on that side, or something.
about. It looks bad.
Is it on?
Is it on our map? Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look.
Do we need to, have
Because Jeremy and I were
somebody come in
both,
and do it?
Jeremy and I were both told he was gonna clean the first one out. But,
He just left it all away.
yeah.
I mean, he did, he burned and cleaned up a bunch of it, but then he
Yeah.
got the third or fourth go around and it's a disaster.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't, I did not know that was his house when I drove by the first time until I looked again. Because it does look a lot different.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Still doesn't look good. All right. So can we do it ourselves or do we need to have somebody help with that? With that second tree?
I think when it comes, if we end up cutting it, it's really very best to know right now.
Yeah.
It's closer to the house than the one that I worked on. I would feel more comfortable with somebody else doing it.
I mean, it's not in the city, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is.
it is?
No,
Yeah, that's a wide right
Fred
away
came-
there.
His kid came and picked something up like last.
So in other words, you're trying to say it's a
Friday.
diseased tree that needs to be removed. That's the best way to answer.
But there is
Yeah.
something else to say.
And all they gotta do is, you either go ahead, let's remove the disease and dead tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta get bids for it.
Right.
Check and see if it's on the map.
Okay.
That's easy.
Get that chunk down so it doesn't crash.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'll take it all out. As soon as we get this pumped in, that'll be my next one.
When the man came to talk about the street sweeper, we were asking him about what to do with the old ambulance since we're not going to trade it in. And he also told us too that taking that box off and selling the truck is going to be worth a good chunk of change. So we probably need to think about that, about seeing if we want to do that, if we want to see if we can find somebody that wants to buy that truck. I asked Kevin Zimmerman if he was interested in buying the truck, because since it's, what, a 2010?
29 is.
2009, is it, how many miles on it, 20,000 or something?
29,000.
29,000 is like a brand new truck. So, it's worth 20,000, I'm sure, plus.
That's what it's
So-
all less than for, the current one up was 20,000.
Yeah. So, that's something we can think about too, is that we could put a bid out there for that too, start at $20,000 and see if anybody wants to purchase it. And we can always apply that money to the ambulance fund if we want to, since it is part of the ambulance.
I also overheard a couple guys from been talking, and apparently when they got rid of one of the road ambulance trucks, they donated either the box or the whole truck or something to one of the schools, EMS schools. You guys ever looked into that? Well, they, so they use it for training. They just-
I know they have a box at Iowa Western.
Okay.
That's just in a classroom.
Right. So, might be worth seeing if somebody could get some use out of that, in that manner at least.
Sure.
Okay, anybody have anything else? Okay, awesome. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?